Hello, I'm author Paul Fraley, author of The Witten Primer, and author of The Powers That Be. They sold pretty well. Not blockbuster hits, but they did manage to sell a few copies. I just didn't do too well with advertising in that department, so that's why they didn't sell as well as they should have. But what this is about, this video, not about me being an author. It's about me having autism. I will call this video Living with Autism. As you probably don't know, autism is a spectrum disorder, which means it depends on how high up or how low you are on the spectrum of autism as to how well you function in society, whether you can function at all without help. Personally, I am very high up on the spectrum of autism. My most serious problem, I would say, is my defect in my short-term memory, which makes it difficult to learn mathematical computations such as multiplication tables without hours and hours and hours and days on end of memorizing the same material over and over again in order to learn it. That's what it takes for someone with a defect in their short-term memory. Other than that, I have problems with my environment, my senses, my nose, my sense of smell. My vision is sensitive to bright light. I can't stand it for very long. And noise, too much noise in my ears, it bothers me. It's hard to concentrate. It breaks up my concentration. That's all typical of people who have autism. They did not understand this in high school. I managed to get through high school, though, by going through a special ed department to learn my math. I learned some basic skills, which I'd soon forgotten after high school was over with, after I graduated. And I went to the Army. I had a few problems there because I had some personality conflicts with some of the people above me in higher rank. So I was transferred to the individual ready reserves. Yeah, I've had trouble with people before. I had trouble with a preacher once. Nobody else was doing what I was doing, so maybe I stuck out a little bit, like a sore thumb, maybe. I don't know. Happened to be admiring the ceiling fans one day, and the guy's preaching to me. And he got very angry with me. He says, "Why are you rolling your eyes at me?" I'm not rolling my eyes at you. I just happen to like looking at the ceiling fans. They look pretty, it brings cool air to me. And I was curious about it. I wanted to look up. It's kind of strange. He's kind of off a little bit, if you ask me. I don't know, something's wrong with him. Griping at me for rolling my eyes at him. He thought I was telling him I was bored with him. No, I was just looking at the ceiling fans, and you took it the wrong way. Anyway, I've had problems living with autism. I've had problems with people. What you call personality conflicts, I guess. One of my employers, the supervisor, discovered I didn't do well in math. So he put me in a position, a place in a factory where I had to use my math skills, which wasn't that great. So I had a hard time. He said, "Well, we don't really need you if you can't do this job, that you have good math skills." Well, then why didn't you put me in the press, operating the press machine like I previously asked or requested it when I first applied here? They moved me to all the other jobs except the one I asked for. And this guy had a real personality problem because he had heard that this other preacher did not like me. He himself was a part-time preacher. These are called personality conflicts. Does not mean I can't do the job at a factory if you put me in the right place, the right department. Well, had they discovered I had autism, they would have fired me on the spot. Because there are no laws against this type of discrimination, as far as I know. And there's no one to stop them, and the family probably wouldn't care about me getting fired, even if it happened, because they have some kind of attitude problem toward me. I've had serious problems with this family for many years, just because they're suffering from their own mental dispositions or disabilities, perhaps. I know, for one thing, my mother had a bipolar disorder, and she suffered with symptoms of mania. How do I know this? Because I went to college. Yes, after the Army, I went to college, and I learned a little bit about psychology. You can do that as an autistic if you have people helping you along the way, special tutors. And I'll say as excellent tutors, let me tell you. But as it turned out, I had some breathing difficulties. I couldn't breathe because of my autism. It was winter. I said, I am not going to take my finals. I'm just going to go home. I'm sick. So I just neglected to tell anybody about it. So I got suspended. Well, I think I went to another college, Ivy Tech, and there was this psychology professor. He was mental or something. He had some kind of personality problem of his own. Maybe he was suffering some kind of illness. I don't know. But he did not like me. And gave me all kinds of hell. Anyway, he'd come to me and say weird crap. Like, I was on my off time, break time in the library. He'd say stuff like, how come you're not in class? Duh, I'm not in that class, stupid. Anyway, I've had some problems living with autism, mainly with people, dealing with people who have their own personal problems. And my water seems to be missing. Anyway, living with autism is not impossible. All I have to do is learn my multiplication tables at a very personal timetable where I don't have to have things competing with my interests in other things, or definitely go someplace when I need to be doing my multiplication tables. I gotta pay attention to other people's schedules, in other words. But I like puttering around and writing. That's what I like to do. It's probably gonna take me a really long time to learn my multiplication tables because I have to learn by rote. It's a system of memorization. And I have to keep at it for hours and hours and hours in order to have it sink into my long-term memory, which is perfect, by the way, superb. It's my short-term memory that has a defect in it. That's just the way I was born. I can't help it. It's genetic, and it affects a certain part of my brain. I don't know. I studied psychology. I learned about parts of the brain. I would say, I don't know, there's either a defect here near the hypothalamus, not in the hypothalamus, but near it, because I have very good long-term memory. It's rerouted somehow. The way I think is different than other humans. Warning series over here is language. I did pretty well in reading, so that's pretty good. I don't know where the defect is. As a neurologist, I would not know. But I am smart enough to read books, and I have quite a collection of books now. I mean, I lost a few of them on the move over to here to Muncie, but these are a few examples that I got. Old Frisian, understanding its vocabulary. Beginners in Old Icelandic language. It's very isolated language. It's quite ancient. Oh, also the colossal language from the people of Indo-Iranian background. They are up in, I believe, Afghanistan, or is it Pakistan? I can't remember. Anyway, you get the idea. I love languages. I love learning. I dabbled in Latin and French in high school, and I have a decent grade, C minus, D plus, something of that nature. Also, I think genetics is very interesting. I bought these books. I read them on my own. You see. Love to read. I used to love to read comic books, but it's kind of hard to focus on it now. I look at the pictures sometimes, but I collect them sometimes just because they're collector's items. It's fun. I love how to have fun. And how many adults can you say do that? Yeah. Science is very interesting to me. Philology is interesting to me. History is interesting to me. And mythology is interesting to me. Just because you have autism does not necessarily mean your intelligence is stunted. Although, as I said before, it is a spectrum disorder. What's that mean, spectrum? You keep saying that word. That means there are different levels of proficiency of intellect. If you're not that smart, you have autism, be somewhere in the middle. If it appears by your actions and words, you seem like someone who has mental retardation, you'd be way down here. Fortunately, I'm way here at the top. But I still have problems with my multiplication tables. I got to relearn them. I do addition and subtraction perfectly. There's nothing wrong with my ability to subtract or to add. And division, I'm still trying to get back in the habit of learning it. I forgot it is what I did. I just stopped using it. I forgot it. It has a different order of operations in the opposite direction than, say, multiplication. I don't know how else to explain that, but I forgot how to do it because of that, and I have to employ multiplication whenever I do a long division problem. I have to refresh my memory through YouTube. That's how I'm able to do any kind of math at all, because it reminds me what I've forgotten. I find that, I do forget quite a bit, but I do remember some things. I know what a strange attractor is in physics. I know about mathematical notation. I know what a differential is. I know what differential equations are. I am vaguely familiar with the hypotenuse, length of a triangle, right side, and so forth, And so you see, having autism doesn't mean you're stupid. It means you have a learning defect. I'm very high up on the spectrum. My defect is in my short-term memory. And if that's true, that could be true of a lot of different autistics who are trying to cope with reality, basically. If they're seriously bad off, they have to have medications because they have emotional problems. Me, I don't like people very well. I'm not a people person. I mean, I get along with people, but that's not what I mean. What I mean is, I'd prefer not to deal with them at all if I could. I've bumped into people with personality traits which I find highly unethical and just difficult to deal with. Once I was working at a factory, it's the economy printing and burn, which I did work at for quite some time. I had a problem with my supervisor. It was a personality problem. He just did not like me. He's trying to get rid of me. What finally did the trick was to get me quit. Was there somebody, some Amish background, had been allowed to get into the back room, and they didn't want to use the toilet, so they squatted on the floor, and they defecated on the floor. Now, so the supervisor found out about this. He blamed me and my group because he had fun with me doing this, humiliating me. We all sat there looking at the place where the person defecated. He says, "Did one of you do this? You're responsible. Happened on your hour." I mean, really, that was the lowest that this job had sank to the depth of depravity, as far as I was concerned. All I wanted to do was work at the press machine and operate the press, and I was allowed to go do it. And now he's doing this to me. And in his off time, when he's not working at the factory, he claims to be a preacher. You are a horrible person. How could you be a man of God? I just said, okay, he's done talking to us. Let's clean it up. I walked into his office. I'm serving you my notice, my week's notice, whatever it's called. I don't know. I'm quitting. I expect to get my paycheck when I come back here. So basically, that's what happened. Went to the bar across the street, ordered a drink, drank a beer, left. The people who give me a ride to work all the time, I waited on them to get off work. They're at the bar. Got home. I said, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, I may be autistic, but I have dignity. I will not stoop to do certain things such as that. I did not hire on for that kind of stupidity. Anyway, this is what it's like living with autism. I don't like bright light. As you know, the lights above me are turned off. I got a lamp back there and a kitchen sink light over there. It hurts my eyes. And I didn't understand back in elementary school, why do I not like the light? One of my specialist therapists thought it was because I have blue eyes. Well, people with blue eyes have sensitivity to light, she reasoned. What it is the fact that I'm cognitively different than other people. Certain sensory stimulation really upsets me. It hurts. I don't like a lot of noise drowning out my thoughts. I don't like bright light. And I'm sensitive to smell, very sensitive. And I have problems with my short-term memory. That's it. That's my autism. I'm so high up on the spectrum. Those are the only problems I've got. There are people who are worse off than me. I know somebody in my family who has autism. Does much worse. Has to be on medication because he has emotional problems. And he has outbursts. That's the typical stereotype. People have autism. So, well, is that the same as mental retardation? No, it's not. It has different aspects of it that has its own symptoms. And people are just so blasé about it, and they discriminate against you all the time, and there's nothing you can do about it. Technically, you could sue somebody, get them in trouble, but that's a lot of trouble to go to. It really is. And I don't think the family would go to any trouble on my behalf to help me if they found out that's what happened. I don't think they would even care. They're worthless, basically, It's a situation I'm in here. That's why they stuck me. That's why my sister stuck me in this place, this retirement home. I'm only 63, and they put me in a retirement home because they'd make more money if they sold the house I was living in to take care of my elderly mother, who they discovered later on is terminally ill. It's a sad situation, but this is what it's like. This is what it's like for me as an autistic. I'm not stupid. I just have a memory defect, my short-term memory. So in saying that, I say I wrap it up in one statement. Living with autism is difficult. that has many challenges, that a person that has to overcome so many hurdles in life. I managed to get past most of them. And so saying that, I hope I've helped you understand the problem better. This is author Paul Douglas Fraley saying good night, goodbye, have a great life.